Welcome back everyone. Today we're talking about Baseball 5. If you don't know what that is, then you're probably a bit confused by the title of this video. Baseball 5 is a new variation of baseball, and I do mean new. It was just thought of 3 years ago, and the sport has really taken off in the past year. It's been catching on in places where neither baseball nor softball, nor anything remotely similar to it, has any kind of presence whatsoever. In case you're not familiar with it, I'll give a basic description of it and tell you how it differs from the baseball we all know. But if you really want to get to know this new sport, I'll link a video in the description that tells all about the sport in detail with accompanying video, so it's easy to understand. Then I'll talk about how the game has been spreading rapidly around the globe. Then I'll talk about what this means for baseball, the 9-player version. So, about the game. Baseball 5 is played with 5 players on each team with only 5 innings of play, hence the name. The fair territory of the playing field is 18 meters or 59 feet on each side, 13 meters or 43 feet between bases, so much smaller than a regular baseball field. No pitcher and no bat. The ball is self-served and hit with a fist or an open palm. The ball's first bounce must be at least 3 meters, about 10 feet, in front of home plate, so no bunting. No home runs either. The ball has to bounce in fair territory. If the ball goes over the fence without first hitting the ground, it's an out. The ball used is a rubber ball, therefore gloves and helmets are not necessary. The ball is the only piece of equipment required to play this game. Aside from all that, most of the rules in baseball and softball carry over to Baseball 5. As you can see, it's a much more convenient version of baseball. The small playing field makes it possible to play in an urban setting, or even indoors. 5-player teams are easier to put together than 9-player teams. Eliminating all of the equipment used in baseball makes it free to play, which will appeal to more poverty-stricken areas. More action too. At-bats don't take nearly as long. The ball is in play more often. Waiting time for your turn to bat is shorter. Batting in every inning or twice in a single inning is a lot more common. So, how is this new sport doing? Well, it's doing great. The first European Baseball 5 Championship took place early this year. 16 national teams competed, with France beating Lithuania in the finals. Both teams qualified for the Baseball 5 World Cup, which was scheduled for December in Mexico, but has been canceled. Other championships were scheduled on all continents. It has been added as a medal sport for the program of the 2022 Youth Olympic Games to be held in Senegal. Already the sport has extended into countries where baseball and softball have never existed, such as Algeria, Tunisia, Palestine, and Syria. Since the game doesn't require any special equipment or facilities, there is no limit to its growth. Promoters and organizers are confident that Baseball 5 can make it onto the Olympic program in the not-too-distant future. But does this mean anything for baseball? After all, with no bats, gloves, or home runs, it seems pretty far removed from the original. Player crossovers would be difficult. A Baseball 5 player switching over to baseball would have to learn how to use a bat and watch incoming pitches. It'd be no different than being an absolute beginner. Fielding skills can carry over a little, but the harder ball, the use of gloves, and the wider space on the field would be a huge challenge. This could be a good way to introduce the game to children, so that they can learn the basic concept of baseball and take it up later in their youth. This is good for places like Europe, which do have some baseball facilities and equipment available, but it's hard for baseball to get exposure to a large number of young athletes. However, the biggest success stories have come from places where there is no place to play 9-player baseball at all, so the baseball community needs to do a better job of making sure that everyone, rich or poor, urban or rural, has some kind of access to the game. Would this help increase viewership? Maybe. One problem that baseball has is that people just don't understand it. It can be really complicated if you've never seen it or played it before. Baseball 5 can be a good first step. It's easy to learn, easy to play, and once you're used to it, the 9-player game doesn't seem so complex anymore. And while Baseball 5 looks like a lot of fun to play, and it will attract some crowds, the simplicity of it could be a turnoff for a lot of people. They might start out watching Baseball 5, but then crave something more complex. It'll be interesting to see the reaction from someone who's played Baseball 5 for several years, seeing a home run or a stolen base for the first time. But anyway, attracting viewers and players doesn't seem to be their aim here. Rather, Baseball 5 is seen as the newest addition to the WBSC family of sports, along with baseball and softball. After all, we don't look at softball as a way to bring people into baseball. It's a sport of its own. Apparently so is Baseball 5, and it's here to stay. And that's all for this one. Let me know what you think about Baseball 5 in the comments. And until next time, this is Baseball International. See ya.